Chosen one, hear me now. Something is shifting in the unseen, and it has your name written all over it. You've walked through narrow corridors, pressed through rooms too small to hold the weight of your calling, endured doors that slammed in your face as if they were warning signs telling you to turn back. But those doors weren't failures. They were training. Every closed door was chiseling your discernment, sharpening your patience, and teaching you how to wait on God instead of running on your own strength. And now, standing right before you, is something so much larger, so much more magnificent, that words can barely contain it. A door built by the hands of heaven itself. This door is heaven-sized, designed not by man, not by chance, but by God Almighty, crafted for you to walk through in this season. You've been asking why the waiting was so long, why the pruning was so sharp, why the silence felt so heavy. It's because the door God has for you isn't just an entrance, it's an assignment. It's not a hallway to a better circumstance. It's a threshold into a destiny that requires a version of you forged in fire, a you that cannot be shaken by flattery, bribed by comfort, or seduced by shortcuts. This is why you've been tested. This is why the nights felt endless. Because when this door swings open, there is no going back. It leads only forward into enlargement, into divine positioning, into the realm where your calling meets its appointed time. But let me warn you, chosen one, this door isn't like any other. It is wide, yet narrow in its demand. It is heavy, yet weightless once God breathes on it. It looks impossible, yet it carries the fingerprints of the supernatural. And when you see it, you'll know it's not opportunity dressed in disguise. It's destiny revealed. This isn't just a promotion at work, a new relationship, or a stroke of good luck. No, this is a doorway God Himself carved out in eternity, before you were even formed in your mother's womb. A door no demon can shut, no enemy can sabotage, and no human hand can take credit for. I need you to understand. Your entire journey has been preparation for this moment. The rejection, the confusion, the spiritual warfare, it all makes sense when you realize it wasn't about small doors. It was about this one. So lean in. Because in the next moments, I will reveal what this heaven-sized door means for your life, how you'll know it when you see it, and why it will change everything about the path ahead. Stay ready. Stay listening. Because the next door is about to open. And it is God-built. You felt it when I said it, the weight of it in your chest, the stirring that told you this wasn't just words. This was Spirit speaking directly into your atmosphere. What you're hearing is not the echo of human imagination. It is a word rooted in eternity, carried through fire, delivered into your present moment. And the one who authored this door is the same one who authored your life. He is Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the God who opens and no one shuts, who shuts and no one opens. This is His voice cutting through the noise of your doubts, His promise shining brighter than the shadows of your past. The door before you is not man-made. It does not swing on human hinges. It does not depend on earthly permission slips or signatures on paper. This door is heaven's architecture, designed with blueprints older than time, sealed with the authority of the Lamb who was slain before the foundation of the world. You need to hear me. This is not about chance, not about luck, not about your resume or your reputation. This is about divine authorship. God wrote this into your story, and He is the one ushering you into it. You've cried out for clarity, asking, "Is this really you, Lord, or am I deceiving myself?" And He answers now with holy fire, "It is I. Do not be afraid. Step forward when I say move, and watch what I have prepared." For too long, your ears were filled with voices telling you what you couldn't do, what you weren't qualified for, where you didn't belong. But those voices are dust compared to the thunder of heaven's decree over your life. Let this sink in. This isn't about worthiness by human standards. If heaven waited for the perfect to arrive, no door would ever open. But this door is covered in grace. It was purchased with blood. It was unlocked by resurrection. That's why it's bigger than your skill, higher than your logic, stronger than your fear. God Himself is making it known that the season of confinement is over. You are standing at the edge of enlargement, not because you forced it, but because He ordained it. Feel the atmosphere shifting. This is the introduction before revelation, the sound of heaven setting the stage. You are not listening by accident. You were summoned here. Every distraction you overcame, every battle that tried to silence you, every obstacle that made you feel delayed, all of it was so that in this moment you would hear what only heaven could whisper. I built this door for you. Pause and breathe that in. This is not motivational speech. This is divine proclamation. You are hearing the heartbeat of God for your destiny, and the pulse is growing louder, the knocking at the edge of your spirit undeniable. Something is being set in motion, and soon you'll see why the delay made sense, why the rejection was mercy, why the silence was preparation. The introduction is clear now. God is not preparing a door for you, He already built it. He is preparing you for the door. And when you step through, you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is the work of His hands alone. It begins quietly, almost imperceptible at first, like the faint shift of wind before a storm, like the whisper of dawn before the sun breaks the horizon. You may not see the full picture yet, but in the unseen, heaven's door is already swinging open. The prophecy is this: you are about to step into a moment so expansive, so drenched in divine favor, that it will feel as if the very ground beneath your feet has changed. The space you've been walking in will no longer contain you. The walls that hemmed you in will vanish. The ceiling that pressed against your head will shatter. This door is not a passage to a slightly better season, it is the opening into your appointed destiny. And here is what you must grasp. When this door opens, it will not creak, it will not hesitate. It will fling wide with force, with authority, with the roar of heaven behind it. For years, you've been pressing, praying, wondering when, and suddenly, like lightning flashing across the sky, the door appears, bigger than you imagined, wider than you dared to hope. A doorway large enough to carry not just your dreams, but your calling, your influence, your assignment, your legacy. This is not about material gain, though provision will come. This is not about recognition, though honor will follow. This door is about alignment, your soul with God's timing, your path with His plan, your voice with His message. Through this door, you will enter into rooms you did not build, platforms you did not seek, relationships you did not orchestrate. The world will call it sudden. They'll say it happened overnight. But you will know it was years in the making, orchestrated by the architect of eternity Himself. Picture it now. A door so high you cannot see its top, stretching into the heavens like Jacob's ladder, angels ascending and descending. A door carved with divine symbols, etched with promises your spirit recognizes, though your mind cannot fully explain. A door so radiant with glory that shadows scatter at its edges, unable to linger near the threshold. And as it swings open, you feel the rush of something holy, like fresh wind filling your lungs, like fire igniting your bones, like destiny itself saying, "At last, the time has come." But hear this carefully. The prophecy is not just about what lies beyond the door. It's about what happens the moment you touch it. When your hand presses against it, your faith will collide with fulfillment. Your obedience will collide with opportunity. Your perseverance will collide with providence. That touch will seal the years of waiting and usher you into the season of walking. And when it opens, you will not walk alone. Heaven's host will surround you, guiding you step by step into the assignment awaiting you. And there is more. Beyond the door, the air is different. It carries the fragrance of promises fulfilled, the atmosphere of answered prayers, the sound of chains falling from generations before you. This is not just your breakthrough. It is the breaking of cycles that bound your bloodline, the lifting of burdens that weighed on your ancestors, the redemption of stories that ended too soon. What you are about to step into has ripple effects far beyond you. Children not yet born will benefit. Communities not yet reached will be touched. Nations you've never seen will feel the shift. Because when God builds a door, He builds it for legacy, not just for one person. So listen closely. The prophecy is not distant. It is near. The door is not hypothetical. It is real. And the moment is not decades away. It is upon you. Even now, the hinges are trembling. The locks are breaking. The frame is glowing with holy fire. What felt like silence is about to erupt into sound. What seemed delayed is about to accelerate. And you will stand at the doorway, trembling not from fear, but from awe, realizing that God Himself built this for you. The unveiling is here. The prophecy is alive. And heaven's voice is declaring, the next door is heaven-sized, and it was built with your name in mind. Every prophecy holds layers. What was just unveiled is not only about an open door, it is about what that door means. Because if all you see is a bigger opportunity, you will miss the deeper reality. This door is more than promotion, more than advancement, more than recognition. It is the physical reflection of a spiritual truth, that heaven has been aligning your steps, even when you thought you were wandering. That God has been writing your story, even in the chapters that felt like silence. That you were never delayed, only prepared. Think of it this way. In Scripture, doors are never just wood and hinges. They are thresholds, moments where one reality ends and another begins. Noah entered the ark through a door and stepped into survival when the world drowned. The Israelites painted blood on their doors and stepped into protection when death swept Egypt. Paul spoke of a great and effective door opening for ministry, though opposition came with it. And in Revelation, John said, "I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven." Every door is symbolic. Every door is spiritual. And this one, this heaven-sized door, is no exception. It represents transition. You are leaving one season and stepping into another, not because you forced it, but because heaven decreed it. The storms that battered you were not meant to break you, they were meant to prove the foundation beneath you. The waiting that felt endless was not wasted, it was a gestation, a womb of time, where strength was forming in the unseen. Every tear watered the soil, every unanswered prayer carved out space. Every rejection stripped away what could not walk with you into this next dimension. This is why the door is heaven-sized. Because the space you are entering is not just about you. It is about assignments God has attached to your obedience. Think of light. One candle in a small room feels bright, but take that same flame into a cathedral, and it seems small. The flame didn't shrink, the space expanded. That's why God built this door. He is enlarging your territory, stretching your influence, creating a stage where your light can shine without being suffocated. The size of the door tells you the size of the calling on the other side. But notice also the storms. Doors are tested by wind. Your life has been tested by winds of betrayal, confusion, loneliness, and delay. And yet, you are still standing. That alone is prophecy fulfilled. You were preserved for such a time as this. Storms tried to blow you off course, but they only confirmed that your roots are deep. And now, when the door opens, you will not enter shaking. You will enter anchored. There is another meaning. Doors signify choice. God can open it, but you must walk through it. That's why the last season trained your will. Too many people stop at the threshold, afraid of what's beyond. They pray for enlargement but shrink back when it comes. But not you. You've been refined to recognize that this isn't luxury, it's responsibility. To walk through this door is to say yes to being seen, yes to being stretched, yes to carrying weight you've never carried before. And your yes will ripple into eternity. Think of seasons. Every life has winters and springs, summers and autumns. The season behind you was pruning, stripping, cold nights, where you wondered if anything was growing at all. But pruning is proof of growth. No gardener cuts dead branches, he trims the fruitful ones to prepare for more. And that's what this door represents. Not the end of pruning, but the beginning of harvest. The winter made sense only because spring was coming. And finally, think of journeys. The road here was not straight. You've stumbled, questioned, resisted, surrendered. You've lost things you thought were permanent and discovered strength you didn't know you carried. Every step was part of a pilgrimage that brought you to this exact threshold. And here, at this door, you realize it was never about reaching comfort. It was always about reaching destiny. So the depth is this. This door is a revelation of who God is and who you are in Him. He is the builder, the opener, the protector. You are the carrier, the walker, the one who says yes. And together, your faith and His faithfulness converge at the threshold. That's why it feels so holy, so overwhelming, so heavy with glory. Because this is not just another season, it is the appointed one. Understand the meaning, and you will not fear the size of the door. Understand the depth, and you will not shrink from its weight. For this is heaven's way of saying, the time has come. Walk forward. Step through. The story is unfolding exactly as it was written. How do you know this door is real? How do you know it's not just imagination, not just another hope that fades like smoke? You know because heaven always leaves traces, signs that whisper to your spirit before the door fully appears. These signs are not random. They are markers along the path, divine breadcrumbs, leading you toward what has already been ordained. And if you look closely, you'll see they've already started showing up in your life. One sign is restlessness, not the kind that makes you anxious, but the kind that refuses to let you settle where you are. The job that once satisfied now feels too small. The relationships that once defined you no longer fit. Even the victories you once celebrated now feel like stepping stones instead of destinations. That holy restlessness is heaven's way of nudging you forward, telling you the space you're in cannot contain the weight of what's coming. Another sign is unusual resistance. Have you noticed how, in recent months, the opposition grew sharper? People misunderstood you more. Doors you thought would open stayed shut. Attacks came from unexpected places. That's not because you're cursed, it's because you're close. The closer you get to a door, the heavier the resistance becomes. Hell cannot stop what God builds, but it will try to distract you, discourage you, or delay you. If the warfare around you has intensified, it's because the door is near. A third sign is sudden favor in unlikely places. It might be a stranger speaking words that confirm what you've been praying, an unexpected opportunity aligning with your gifts, someone in authority noticing you, without you striving for attention. These are glimpses of what's beyond the door, God showing you that when He's ready, alignment happens effortlessly. A fourth sign is prophetic echo. You keep hearing the same phrases, scriptures, or messages in different places. You open your Bible, and the verse seems alive. You scroll through, and the same word appears again. You hear someone preach, and it confirms what was already stirring inside you. That repetition is not coincidence. It's God making sure you know the message is real. And there is the sign of inner stirring, a quiet, unexplainable knowing that something is about to shift. You can't point to evidence, but your spirit feels the tremble in the atmosphere. It's like standing at the shore before the tide rushes in. You can sense the pull before you see the waves. Finally, there is the sign of separation. Certain people begin to drift. Circles close. Invitations stop. It feels like rejection, but in truth, it is redirection. God is narrowing the path, pruning the voices around you so that when the door opens, only those aligned with your destiny will walk with you. If you've seen even one of these signs, understand, it is confirmation. Heaven has been marking your path. The fingerprints of God are already on your journey. You are not imagining it. The prophecy is not distant. You are closer than you think. But let me tell you the truth. Before you step through this heaven-sized door, you will face challenges that don't look like blessings. They won't come with labels saying, "This is part of your preparation." They will look like confusion, disappointment, and delay. And if you aren't careful, you'll misinterpret them as punishment instead of process. One challenge is the silence of God. Just when you expect Him to speak the loudest, the heavens may seem quiet. You'll pray and hear only whispers. You'll ask for signs and see only shadows. But understand, silence is not absence. Silence is refinement. God is training your ear to recognize His voice in stillness, not just in thunder. Because when you step through this next door, you'll need that sensitivity. You'll need to discern His whisper when the crowd is loud. Another challenge is sudden pressure, financial strain, emotional weariness, spiritual fatigue. It may feel like everything is hitting you at once, like the weight is too much to carry. But pressure is proof of capacity. Diamonds are formed under weight. Olive oil is released under crushing. The anointing you will carry beyond this door cannot be cheap, it must come from pressing. Then there is betrayal. People you thought would celebrate you may instead criticize you. Friends may fall silent. Family may not understand. Don't be surprised when loyalty thins at the edge of breakthrough. Not everyone can walk through with you. And sometimes God allows the betrayal so you won't lean on fragile supports when He is calling you to stand on His strength alone. There will also be weariness in waiting. Right before the door opens, time itself feels heavy. Days drag. Delays multiply. You may even feel the temptation to force something open, to create your own door rather than wait for His. That is the final test. Because when you refuse to manipulate, when you choose patience over panic, you prove to heaven that you are ready for what is on the other side. And finally, the challenge of fear. The very size of the door can intimidate you. Questions rise. What if I'm not ready? What if I fail? What if I step through and lose myself? Fear will try to paralyze you at the threshold. But remember, fear is the enemy's last weapon when he can no longer close the door. It is an illusion, a smokescreen designed to make you retreat when heaven is calling you forward. So don't mistake the challenges for curses. They are confirmations. They mean the door is real, and you are close. The silence is sharpening your hearing. The pressure is enlarging your capacity. The betrayal is pruning your circle. The waiting is testing your trust. The fear is reminding you that faith is required. If you're facing these struggles right now, take heart, they are not punishment. They are the birth pains of destiny. And when they reach their peak, the door will swing wide. Now listen carefully, because this is where the word turns from revelation to instruction. A door built by heaven requires preparation shaped by heaven. You cannot walk through it with the same posture you carried in the wilderness. You cannot approach it with yesterday's habits, yesterday's mindset, yesterday's compromises. This moment demands alignment. And alignment always begins with obedience. The first instruction is to guard your heart. More than ever, you must be vigilant about what you allow in your spirit. Negativity, gossip, bitterness, they cannot travel with you through this threshold. If you entertain them, they will poison your vision. The next door requires a heart light enough to carry the weight of glory without sinking under offense. Forgive quickly, release grudges. Keep your heart clean, because a pure heart unlocks clarity, and clarity will be your compass. The second instruction is to consecrate your atmosphere. Make your environment an altar. Surround yourself with prayer, worship, and words that breathe life. This is not the time to drown in distractions, endless scrolling, or empty conversations. You are preparing for a divine encounter, and your atmosphere must reflect it. Build a sanctuary where heaven feels welcome. Let your home, your car, even your thoughts become places where God's presence is free to rest. The third instruction is to sharpen your discernment. Not every opportunity is the door. Not every voice is heaven's messenger. Before the door appears, counterfeits will come, smaller doors dressed to look divine, voices promising shortcuts, relationships disguised as destiny. Don't rush. Test every spirit. Lay every option at God's feet. Ask yourself, does this lead me deeper into obedience, or does it flatter my impatience? Remember, the right door will not pull you away from Him. It will draw you closer. The fourth instruction is to strengthen your faith through declaration. Speak what God has promised until your own ears believe it. Say out loud, the door is real. The timing is divine. I am ready. Faith comes by hearing, and sometimes your spirit needs to hear your own mouth align with heaven. Don't wait for circumstances to prove the prophecy. Let your words prepare the ground for fulfillment. The fifth instruction is to move in silence where needed. Everyone cannot know what you're carrying. Everyone cannot understand what you're birthing. Some doors require secrecy until the moment of unveiling. Protect what God whispered in your spirit from those who would mock it or mishandle it. Learn to discern who is covenant and who is curiosity. Share only with those God has confirmed as safe for the journey. The sixth instruction is to stay anchored in prayer and fasting. These are not religious rituals, they are weapons. Prayer sharpens your focus. Fasting breaks your dependence on the natural so your spirit can lead. Together, they align you with heaven's timing and keep you sensitive to the exact moment God says, move. You cannot afford dullness when the door opens. And the seventh instruction is this: be ready to step when it swings wide. Delay can cause you to miss divine timing. You cannot freeze at the threshold. You cannot hesitate because of fear or analysis. When God says, go, move with confidence, knowing you are not stepping alone. The door was built for you, and heaven's host will go before you. Take these instructions seriously. They are not suggestions. They are not casual advice. They are survival guides for destiny. Because the truth is, many are called, but few are chosen, not because God withheld doors, but because they failed to prepare. But you will not fail. You have endured too much to shrink now. You have been shaped too deeply to miss what was built with your name on it. So, align your heart, consecrate your atmosphere, sharpen your discernment, strengthen your faith, move with wisdom, stay anchored in prayer, be ready to step forward. These are not heavy burdens, they are keys. And when used, they will unlock what was written for you before time began. Take a deep breath now, because after the call to prepare comes the reminder that you are not abandoned in the preparation. You are not asked to carry this alone. The same God who built the door is the same God who will protect you as you approach it. The same spirit that whispered the prophecy is the same spirit that will shield you from the arrows that fly by day and the terrors that stalk at night. You are covered. You are surrounded. You are kept. Do you remember the psalmist's words? He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That shadow is not weakness, it is fortress. You are stepping into a season where protection is invisible yet undeniable. Doors may creak in the natural, but in the spirit, walls of fire are rising around you. Heaven's armies are not just watching, they are actively guarding every step. There will be moments when fear tries to whisper, "You're exposed. You're vulnerable. You'll fail." But those whispers are lies, because truth says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." The promise is not that weapons won't form, they will. Words will be spoken, attacks will be launched, shadows will gather, but they will not prosper. They will not land. They will not undo what God has set in motion. Feel the assurance of this. Angels are already stationed at your side. You don't see them, but they've been walking with you all along. In your darkest nights, when you thought you were alone, they were there. In moments you narrowly escaped danger, they were shielding you. And as you approach the heaven-sized door, they will not withdraw, they will increase. Because the larger the assignment, the greater the protection. And God Himself, your Father, your Shepherd, your Defender, is watching over you. He says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." That promise does not expire at the threshold. It intensifies. The right hand that split seas, that shut lions' mouths, that raised the dead, it is the same hand guiding you now. So do not let anxiety steal your peace. Do not let fear shrink your vision. Rest in the covering that is already yours. You are stepping into destiny, yes, but you are also stepping under wings that cannot be clipped, into shadows that no darkness can penetrate. You are not stepping alone. Heaven moves with you. When the door swings open, something inside you shifts forever. It is not just the scenery that changes, it is you. The weight you carried in the wilderness begins to fall off, piece by piece. The heaviness that pressed on your chest is replaced with breath, so free it feels like the first inhale after drowning. You realize in that moment that every tear was seed, every delay was strategy, every storm was rehearsal, and now you are walking into the stage for which you were written. The transformation begins in your spirit. Suddenly, the insecurity that once silenced you no longer has authority. You speak with clarity, because you know you are not improvising. You are prophesying what God already decreed. Fear loses its grip, because you've seen the size of the door and survived the size of the battle. Doubt evaporates, because evidence surrounds you. You are not questioning if God is with you, you are living in the overflow of His presence. Then it touches your mind. Confusion gives way to focus. Where you once saw scattered pieces, now you see the whole design. Strategy floods your thoughts. Ideas arrive fully formed, dripping with creativity you didn't labor for. Decisions that once paralyzed you are made with confidence, because wisdom has settled on you like a mantle. Your mind is no longer tormented, it is renewed, and then it flows into your relationships. People assigned to your destiny begin to appear. Covenant connections step forward, as if hidden until now. Conversations feel divine. Doors of collaboration open. And suddenly, you are not walking alone but linked arm in arm with those who carry the same fire. Old cycles of betrayal lose power, because God is surrounding you with those who will build, not break. The fulfillment is not just personal, it is generational. Children in your bloodline will inherit peace instead of cycles. Communities will benefit from the overflow of your obedience. Doors and nations will open because you dared to walk through this one. What you thought was just about your blessing reveals itself as about legacy. You are the hinge upon which entire stories turn. And the atmosphere around you, oh, it changes too. Places that felt dry now feel alive when you walk in. Conversations shift because your presence carries weight. People sense something when you enter rooms, they can't explain it, but they feel hope. They feel conviction. They feel God. You become a carrier of the new season, a living testimony that heaven still writes stories with fire. This is transformation, not a small tweak, not a minor adjustment, but a complete renewal. You walked in weary, you step out radiant. You walked in uncertain, you step out unshakable. You walked in carrying the wounds of the past. You step out carrying the oil of the future. This is what fulfillment looks like. Not perfection, but alignment. Not ease, but empowerment. Not applause, but authority. So lift your head, see it clearly. You are not just approaching a door, you are approaching yourself, made whole, destiny made manifest, God's glory made visible through your life. This is the promise. When you walk through, everything changes. Take these words with you, not as suggestions, but as declarations you can carry into your days and whisper over your nights. Repeat them until they sink into your bones, until they become louder than fear, until they shape the atmosphere around you. Say this: the door built for me by God cannot be shut. Let that truth silence every lie that tells you you're unworthy, too late, or too broken. If God authored it, no one can erase it. Say this: I am prepared, I am chosen, I am ready. Let that affirmation remind you that the waiting was not wasted. You are not stepping forward, half-formed. You are entering equipped, refined, and anchored. Say this: I walk not in fear, but in faith. Let it remind your spirit that trembling is natural, but paralysis is not your portion. You will not shrink at the threshold. You will not hesitate when the moment comes. And say this: heaven goes with me, because you are not stepping through this door alone. Angels walk beside you. God's Spirit goes before you. His hand is upon you. His covering is over you, and His blessing is within you. Now, receive this blessing. May the peace of God guard your heart as you approach the door. May His wisdom steady your mind when distractions try to cloud your vision. May His fire burn away every fear, leaving only courage. May His love wrap around you like a shield, convincing you again and again that you are never abandoned. I bless your hands, that they will touch the handle of the heaven-sized door and not let go. I bless your feet, that they will step boldly into rooms designed for your calling. I bless your eyes, that they will see beyond opposition and behold the glory of what's waiting. And I bless your spirit, that it will never forget you were chosen for this. Leave this word knowing, the next door is not just large, it is eternal. It carries heaven's architecture, heaven's fingerprints, heaven's promise, and it has already been built for you. Walk forward with peace, step with faith, and watch what God unfolds.